Welcome back to a year in the TikTok of the Jock Scientist. We're going to continue where we left off last time, not last week, but last time. This is going to be another fairly short one. I'm aiming between like 20 and 30 minutes of recording time, and hopefully that will equal out to somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes for the video. Things happened this past week. Like, okay, so the school that I work at caught on fire. No one was in there. Everyone is fine. But that's caused an absolute fuck ton of a mess uh, with where I work right now. So I didn't get a chance to record anything for the rest of this month. I'm still short about 8-ish videos. So there's going to be a few, not this week, but probably next week, that are going to be a little shorter. Maybe it's the week after. I don't remember what order they're going to be in. So as such, like I'm trying to catch up, and because I'd like all of my videos fully recorded by the end of this week from the time this video is posted, in the hopes that I can edit and have everything up and you guys can watch without interruption for the rest of the videos. So as such, I also have realized that in terms of topics for videos this month, I'm short for like 1 or 2 videos. So I'm going to do something completely self-indulgent and be once again reviewing different Tappy Tunes manhwas, web comics, whatever you want to call them, that I've read, current stuff that I'm loving, current stuff that I'm doing. Like, it's just gonna be a completely self-indulgent fucking video that I don't expect anyone to watch, but I have the opportunity to just post something completely self-indulgent for myself on this channel, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it. But because of that, I'm not gonna be reviewing stuff that I've been doing this week, especially since I just got down a major rabbit hole and I spent far more money than I needed to be able to read every chapter in this one series that I will review in that video. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into it. I've talked entirely too long.
It's a mistake you learned the hard way that you can now help people to avoid.
Pursuing health and pursuing weight loss are not the same. Pursuing and maintaining a healthy life.
So, for the record, I actually agree with this. Pursuing health and pursuing weight loss are not necessarily the same thing. They can work in tandem with each other, but they're not necessarily the same thing. I still want to lose weight, but losing weight for me has become secondary to being healthier, mostly because now that I've been like running more consistently and strength training and stuff, I feel so much better that while I still want to get down to a lower weight, I want to get down to like the healthy weight, even if I'm at the top range of healthy. That's ultimately where I want to get to. Before, I wanted to get down to the lowest possible weight I could be without being underweight. And that's just not as much of a priority for me now, because I really like being able to lift heavy things without, like, so one of the things, because I've been stationed at different schools because of the fire at the school that I work at. I was helping someone. She was struggling with this bin. It was fucking light for me. And I loved that. I love being able to lift things that other people can't. I like being able to run without getting winded. I love the results of my healthier choices, and that's become more of a priority for me than the weight itself. Although I still would like to get down to a healthy weight just because of higher risk factors at my current weight. I'm still probably, I think, about 30 pounds away from that. Maybe a little bit less, maybe it's 20 pounds, something like that. But I still want to get down to a healthy weight, but it's become secondary to seeing more improvements in other areas.
Style could result in weight loss, but the promise of it is probably making you not adhere to those habits. The idea that your smallest body size is inherently your healthiest body size is just a product of diet culture and beauty standards.
So no one says that your smallest body size is your healthiest body size. If that were the case, everyone would be lionizing Uchina Kuni, who is like scary thin. So no one is prioritizing the smallest body size someone can be. I just want to like I feel like that needs to be said. I feel like that needs to be clarified. No one's saying that your the smallest possible weight that you can be is the healthiest for you. No one is saying that.
standards. And a lot of times the pursuit of that smallest body size doesn't embody actually healthy habits. Spending a ton of money on random pills and supplements.
This is true for those that are trying to lose weight quickly, and this is one of the things that she talked about with like not adhering to it. I think that is like the one danger of pursuing something strictly for weight loss. I don't think the pursuance of weight loss in and of itself is wrong, especially if you are obese. I think it's a good thing to keep in mind. But if you're doing it with the hope of immediate results and you want it to be done immediately, you want to lose those 50 pounds in a year and completely upend everything that you've done when you've done nothing but sit around and eat junk food for most of your life. I think that that's a little bit unrealistic in terms of longevity and sticking with something. I think smaller, even if it takes you 5 years and you only lose 10 pounds each year to lose that 50 pounds that you need to lose, that is better because it is more sustainable. So for that, I will like say I think it is better to not play into the lose weight fast. It's kind of like a get rich quick scheme is a lose weight quick scheme. There are certain people where that has to happen, like the people in my 600-pound life, the people that have to follow Dr. Nao's plan. But for the vast majority of people losing weight, even if you are in a lower obese range, healthier habits and sticking to uh, habits that you can maintain for a long period of time is more important than losing weight as quickly as possible. The only time that losing weight as quickly as possible to me would usurp that is in terms of like immediate life threat, like the people of my 600-pound life.
Starving yourself, tracking every single gram of food that crosses your lips, over-exercising, or making it so your life revolves around exercise, none of those are actually healthy. Moving your body consistently, prioritizing sleep, staying hydrated, eating nutritious meals throughout the day. All of those are healthy habits that are going to make you feel good. Uncoupling that all of that should result in weight loss is going to go a long way to maintaining those habits.
It's a mistake you learned the hard way that you can.
So I don't 100% disagree with her. I don't think they need to be uncoupled, but I think there needs to be a shift in terms of expectations for weight loss, especially for those who are not morbidly obese, in that if the goal is to lose weight and maintain it, then your primary goal should be building healthier habits, even if that results in slower weight loss, so that way you can maintain that ideal weight that you want. That's my perspective.
Okay, so I'm a mid-size queen. I'm equal parts thick and equal parts lean.
Get real. Are you joking me? Listen, half the people under this cringy ass sound are just straight size. You're just straight size.
So it says straight sizes are 00 to 12 or extra extra small to large and can find clothes easily anywhere. Midsize technically sizes 14 to 18 or XL to XXL. They're the smallest plus sizes and the largest straight sizes. Someone did respond saying that Google says midsize is 10 to 14 and the girl that we just saw is a size 10, so it's considered midsize. I personally think that this whole like discussion of straight size, mid-size, and plus size is kind of dumb. Personally, it's such a like a small range that we're like breaking sizes up to, and it ultimately doesn't fucking matter. If you, I mean, I think there is something to be said for distinction between regular sizes and plus sizes, only because in that realm, like, uh, stores like Torrid make a difference. Because they, although I think they go down to a size 10, so wouldn't that also like fall within plus sizes, or at the very least mid sizes, which the Jock Scientist is going against? So I don't know. The whole thing, it's not, it's one of those things where I'm like, you guys are getting too specific with your labels, and I have zero fucks to give. So we'll see what else she has to say.
And you in particular, I've seen you do a lot to try to prove that you're actually mid-size over on your page. Girlie, it's not them, it's you. If people actually believed you, they wouldn't be questioning it. I get it. Unrealistic beauty standards have messed with all our heads, and now you think your wide rib cage is something to be ashamed of, so you want to claim this label so you can feel better about your insecurities. Let me tell you this. All of these pretty straight size white girlies who fit most beauty standards. If you want to claim mid-size and you want to claim body positivity for yourselves and make that your identity, great. I better see you all being the loudest ones about fat phobia, because they'll listen to y'all. They don't like to listen to my actually fat plus size ass.
Okay, so I'm a
So I want to see what that last caption was she put on. XL, a true 16XL mid-size girly. So she says she's 16 mid-size, whatever. And the thing is that this is one of those things where I'm like, I feel like you don't take culture into consideration because a size 10 in a primarily obese area is going to be considered very thin. Size 10 in a primarily very like tiny weight conscious area like LA or something is going to be considered bigger. So I think like geographically that there is a difference there that should be acknowledged. And also I find it interesting that she's like all you skinny white girlies that fit most beauty standards. From what I've seen, a lot of FAs fit traditional beauty standards too. They're just fat. That's the only like Tess Holiday fits 90% of beauty standards from what I've seen, with the exception that she's fat. So, like, pot me kettle a little bit, you know?
Kristen, given that you left this incredibly transphobic.
So, the one that she's responding to says, there's like claps, you are part of the problem, white girly, get the fuck out. And then the comment that she says that was transphobic is also from the same person saying, almost like men claiming they're women are taking female labels in spaces, a wild concept to grasp, but you can't pick and choose when to be inclusive. I've made a couple of videos that I wasn't expecting. So actually, no, you guys won't know this yet, but there is a video coming out from the vegan teacher that ended up going into the trans realm that I wasn't expecting. So I've already made a couple of videos. I made that, and then there's another one on the TikTok. I think it was a tag, but maybe not like exactly a tag on trans issues. And in general, I've covered it a couple times just because it's somehow become related so much to the fat acceptance movement that it's been something that has to be talked about. But I kind of am tired of it's not really my realm that I venture into very often. It doesn't matter a huge amount to me. Uh, and it's not something I really want to get into. But we'll go ahead and hear what else she has to say.
Comment on the same comment section. I really hope I am part of your problem. I want nothing more than for bigots to detest me. Like, I've seen what makes y'all cheer, and I don't ever want that to be me. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that you don't know that yesterday, November 20th, was the Trans Day of Remembrance. A day solely to remember trans and gender nonconforming individuals who have died at the hand of violence. I need you to understand that of the entire American population, trans individuals make up about 1.5%. And according to the Human Rights Campaign report that came out this year, 32 of those individuals have died by violence. Of those 32, 85% are people of color and 63% are Black women specifically. Mortality rate of trans individuals is twice that of non-trans individuals. I'm sure that number will go up after the shooting in Colorado from this past weekend. Feminism that doesn't include trans and queer people and people of color and fat people and disabled people is trash. Goodbye.
So she put out some good statistics, so I'm gonna leave this in the video, but for me the big thing that I want to comment on is that sliding in trans people, disabled people, people of color, fat people. I'm sorry, but that still just stands out as like one of these things is not like the other sort of sort of thing to me. It does. It does because someone can't help that they're trans, someone can't help that they're disabled, someone can't control their skin color or their height or any of that, but you can control your weight. You can make efforts to do it's just not the same thing.
Many of us are entering the holiday season, which means we're
So it says, I never noticed until I started watching your page, but it's deeply embedded in everything we do and how we look at ourselves. Do you have any advice on what I can say in the moment to get them to understand why it's harmful? And it seems like this is something about anti-diets.
We're entering into the season where people love to comment about food and bodies. So I'm going to give you a nice and a spice on how to respond to some of those comments. Wow, have you lost weight? You look great. I don't know, maybe. I'm going to go get a drink. I really don't appreciate comments about my body. I'm going to go get a drink. I would never eat like this. I'm being so bad today. Oh, stop. This food is lovely and I'm excited to be eating it with you. Let's just enjoy it. Oh, is it moldy? Did it run over a child on its way here? I think it's fine. We're not bad. Whew. I'm gonna have to hit the gym hard tomorrow. Oh, what routine do you do? I'm currently doing. I mean, I guess if that's what makes you happy, I'm gonna sleep in and have some leftovers though. Can you believe how much weight that she's gained? Oh, I wasn't really even paying attention. Did you know that she just got a promotion? Ew, why would you think that's okay to say to me? Happy holidays.
So, I actually didn't have a huge issue. I mean, some of them were definitely a bit ruder. I don't necessarily, the funny thing with fat acceptance is that this all involves someone talking directly to them. And if you want to put boundaries up that you are not, especially with like the body shaming thing, if you were not comfortable like commenting on people's weight and shit, I think it's perfectly okay to say, hey, let's not talk about that. It's rude, it's mean-spirited. I don't like it and I don't want to participate in this. I think those boundaries are 100% fine. And if more FAs were just kind of like that, where they just didn't want to participate in body talk or body shaming or um talking about working out to compensate for the food you ate. Well, I think that's the last one. I'm not a fan of the body shaming either, but in terms of like talking about working out to pay for like the calories that you ate, I don't have a problem with that. But if it bothers you, I don't think that that's necessarily wrong to put up that boundary of I don't want to talk about that. It's when you try to control other people's conversations that I have an issue. And that's where most people's issues are. So it says formerly fat people after saying the most vile body shaming fat phobic statement you've ever heard in your life.
So I just got out of a doctor's appointment. This was the first time I had seen this doctor. I was like establishing care, whatever, no big deal, routine thing. But he walked in, he's like, "You're healthy."
Thank you. Thank you for this. See, what you've done with this video is single-handedly proved the point that the disabled and fat communities have been trying to make for years. Your doctor walked in and judged your health based on your appearance. Oh, why are you attacking this girl? She's just talking a bit.
70% of the patients that I saw in 2022 were either overweight or obese. 70%. The fact that being a healthy human is the exception is insane.
Two things really jumped out at me here. The first red flag is a medical professional that still uses BMI as some type of indicator of health. There is piles of evidence that shows the BMI is.
So it says flawed methods and inappropriate conclusions for a health policy on overweight and obesity, the global BMI mortality collaboration meta-analysis. So she's citing her stuff. I completely forgot to bring up my thing, but she said this is one of the piles of evidence. So let's see, flawed methods and inappropriate conclusions. Do we want to look? I'm going to listen to the rest of what she has to say.
A flawed, unreliable tool when used in health screenings or medical settings. Most notably that the categories of overweight and obese have shifted twice, once in the 70s and then again in the 90s, encompassing more people into those categories, so you went to sleep normal one day and woke up overweight the next day and now you're suddenly unhealthy. Not to mention that the inventor of the BMI himself said that this tool is not intended for individual medical screening purposes. Second red flag being that this medical professional used your appointment to stand in the room, go on some tangent about fat patients because you're visibly thin, and they felt comfortable to do that. They assumed that you were healthy based on your appearance, and you didn't have a critical thought about this interaction. What if...
Okay, so we're going to finish listening to this. I'm going to decide to not look at that particular study, mostly because I don't really have an issue with not using the BMI as like the primary metric. The reason why the BMI is used is because it's the fastest calculation to make for like just a simple appointment. You can also ask for like a body fat percentage measurement if you feel your BMI is wrong. While the BMI is flawed, and I understand to a certain extent, like I understand the points that she's making, it's, and I've said this before, it's a heuristic. It's not a measured science, and I think most doctors at least acknowledge that. It is a good like rule of thumb though, and that's what I mean by a heuristic. It's like a rule of thumb because is it perfect? No. Is it going to be right 100% of the time? No. No, I certainly have not expected that at all. Um, and you can be healthy and maybe even like it's even with like an overweight BMI. And it's more of just a general regard when put in collaboration with like high cholesterol or elevated blood pressure or high blood sugar or A1C levels or anything like that, then it becomes more of an issue. And if you've crossed into the line of obese category, then you are, as other studies have shown, at a higher level of the higher risk of other complications, statistically speaking. It's often when we're talking about, oh, you have a higher BMI, therefore we have some concerns about elevated blood pressure, developing diabetes, that sort of thing. They are looking at it from a more societal standard based on studies that have shown that people with higher BMI have increased risks for XYZ issues. So, in that way, it is looking at a population level and using that population level to apply to the individual. So, there's a couple of steps removed from the BMI in terms of how these things work. It's about mitigating potential risk factors. It's about prevention. Preventative medicine, by its nature, can't really apply too specifically to an individual because it's preventative. They are making educated guesses based on other studies that may have used the BMI as their waypoint to determine as a measuring factor because it was so easy and so accessible, and therefore it kept costs of the study down itself. So in that way, yes, it's not accurate to use for the individual, but it's not really used to say that, oh, you are therefore unhealthy, with the exception of maybe the morbidly obese, in which case your eyes can also tell you that anyway. It is used as a rule of thumb for based on studies that used a population level look that is then extended to the individual for the purpose of prevention because the individual isn't showing issues yet, and the goal is that they will not show later issues. I hope I'm making sense here. Um, and this whole kind of like, and you didn't have a critical thought. Like, I really hate people that are condescending to others like this. It just kind of pisses me off. I just wanted to throw that in there.
You weren't healthy. And I don't mean it the way that you're using it, which is interchangeable with the word thin. I mean, what if you were sick or unwell and the doctor was just assuming you were healthy? Sometimes thin people go in and present with classic symptoms of a condition that's typically associated with fat people, and the symptoms will get completely overlooked because, well, you're young and thin, so it doesn't really matter. And then your condition worsens. Or on the flip side, you're a fat patient going to the doctor for a routine exam, just like you did, and you do all the things you're supposed to do. You eat well, you exercise regularly, your lab work is perfect, but you're still full of so much anxiety and dread because you know the doctor is going to lecture you about your weight. For the worst case.
So, in terms of the thin people having their symptoms and conditions overlooked, I agree that's an issue. And I would side with you more if you were like sometimes doctors overlook things that need to be treated otherwise and simply prescribe weight loss, because that has been an issue, especially with certain types of cancers, or like endometriosis, or like I've noticed it primarily when I hear like tragic stories of this type of stuff. It seems to be almost entirely based in some sort of reproductive issue, whether that be cancers or endometriosis or cysts or that sort of thing. So I understand how that is an issue and how I guess maybe in that way that there's an over reliance on the BMI and weight loss strictly in terms of looking at measures of health. In that way, I can kind of understand that. That being said, if you come into the doctor and yes, your labs may be fine, but what they're talking about and the reason why they're lecturing on you on your weight is because you have now elevated risk factors that could make things more difficult down the line, especially as other compounding factors such as age and potential stress levels increase. So it's the lectures of weight loss is primarily to help the patient reduce risk of conditions in the future. I'm not saying that there aren't some issues with the general way things are treated. I can acknowledge that, but I don't think that advising it's also just kind of part of what they have to do. Otherwise, they're negligent as doctors, you know?
Scenario, you're a fat patient that's sick and the doctor refuses to run any of the tests they should run to see what's going on, blame every symptom on your weight, tell you to lose weight, and your condition gets worse. See, I clocked that word wellness in your name real quickly, and I'm so frustrated that you were presented this opportunity on a silver platter and you smacked it away. What I can presume from your video is that you were a young, fit, thin, non-disabled, white wellness professional who could have looked that doctor in the eye and said, well, I don't know that we could know someone's health based on their body size, and that doctor would actually listen to you. Instead, you use this interaction as material for your wellness channel to continue pushing the narrative that we can tell health based on one's body size. And
I'm 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 pretty sure she's just gonna say shame on you, but so I think that's entirely too much responsibility to place on this one young girl that because the doctor complimented her on her healthy weight, that she should have then taken that opportunity to take some sort of political stance in her establishing care visit. I just I think that like you don't know what other concerns she had, you don't know what was going on to the idea that she should sacrifice a portion of her establishing care visit with some sort of political agenda, I think is unreasonable. I think that is entirely unreasonable, and I think it's even more unreasonable for you to expect that even if she had done that, to then like share that with social media, I guess. I don't like it. I don't like it. So we have enough time, I think, for one more video.
let's continue our journey of nice or spice responses to unwanted food or body comments this holiday season. Going back for seconds, I see someone must be hungry. Yeah, I wasn't done yet and I'm still hungry, so I'm going to go get another plate. Well, looks like someone's offering their unsolicited opinion again. You should talk to your cousin. She lost 40 pounds doing just this. I know you want to help, but I know my body best. You should try minding your own business. And probably therapy. Eat any more of those desserts and you won't fit in those jeans next year. And if that happens, I'll just buy a new pair. Talk about my food anymore and I will eat you next. You look great. This isn't about your appearance. I'm just very worried about your health. I know that you care and that this is coming from a place of love, but I've got a great team of health professionals behind me and I've got it under control. My doctor says that I am in great health, but you should be worried about my foot about to go up your ass. Let's continue our journey.
Some of the so I can understand the spice reactions and stuff if it's family. Like we all have at least one family member that puts their nose in situations that they really fucking shouldn't and doesn't know how to mind their own goddamn business. I understand that. And for that type of person, the spice responses don't bother me. Outside of family though, I've never experienced anything quite so like blatant. Granted, I'm not terribly big. I mean, I'm big-ish, but I range right now from like a size 12 to 14. At my heaviest, I was a size 16. I haven't I have had people I did have a point though during my freshman year of college where I was gaining the freshman 15 and I did have those kind of comments from my mother. And I understand the kind of frustration from the judgment that's experienced. So like I get that part. Outside of that though, I've never had like in general, I've never had or witnessed like strangers doing that, you know, or coworkers, although I could see like one really asshole-ish coworker possibly doing that. I don't know. Like I don't necessarily have a problem. You respond how you want to respond. Um, but I don't think that I think most of the spice ones, especially like need to worry about my foot up your ass. I don't think if it's like weird half threats, because I think it was meant to be snarky, but it comes off almost threatening, like it's a half threat, uh, are unhelpful. Are unhelpful for the entire situation. And it's escalating the situation that does not need to be escalated. It's not worth escalating the situation to that extent. You can be snarky back for the unsolicited opinion. I understand that, but I don't think that like foot up your ass comment is really necessary. But anyway, that's about it for this video. We are just about out of November of last year. So we'll see. In January, I'll probably make these videos a little bit longer. I'm just wanting to make sure I have everything set up for the rest of the videos for this month. So thank you all so much, by the way, for watching them. I'm seeing all the comments. I don't have time because the chaos around my work situation right now, I have not had a chance to sit down and respond, or even unfortunately read all of the comments. It is on one, like the first thing I'm going to do once I'm on winter break, which is at the end of the week this video is posted. So I'm really looking forward to reading all of your comments and responding to them. I'm so sorry I haven't been able to do that more right now, but thank you so much for all of your support. I hope you guys are enjoying this month of daily videos. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching and take care of yourselves.